What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Foxley and this is Volt versus OG Origin. This is the quarterfinals of AoN League, so it's going to be quite the matchup, I do believe. First ban for Volt is a Rubik, not one you'd usually see banned first. I do believe that OG Origin does have an insanely good Rubik player, so that could explain it. First ban for Ominous Gaming is going to be the Tusk. Again, these are bans that you do see from time to time, but it's usually just bans when you know they do have a good Rubik or they do have a good Tusk. The most Windranger ban is pretty standard, very strong mid laner current meta, nothing really you can do against it. Second ban now for Ominous Gaming Origin is going to be the Bambi. The pattern I've seen is if you do not have first pick, usually you're the one who's going to ban Bambi. If you have first pick, then you pick Bambi first, or you pick Windranger first.
Seconds remaining.
Third ban for Volt is the Warlock. Warlock, definitely a hero you do want to ban.
Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
Excuse me, I'm gonna go AFK for a second. Okay, I am back now. I just had to fix a little bug quickly. Should be fixed now. First pick for Volt is the Ogre Magi. Ominous Gaming also picking up the Dark Willow. With the Terrorize, very strong hero. Able to split up a team into two. And then just take the team fight from there. Also Ogre Magi, strong pick. It could be a bait pick because you never know if it's a pos 5, a pos 4, a pos 3. I've even seen some teams play Ogre Magi mid. The only role Ogre Magi isn't good at basically is safe lane. Safe lane core. And to be honest, at this point I wouldn't be surprised if I see that either.
Dire team ban.
Volt do pick up the Jakiro. The Jakiro is a hero I've seen getting picked quite a bit lately. I think he is a pretty strong laner and he is pretty strong into the late game, mid to late game as well.
10 seconds remaining.
Pretty tanky support. And Volt banned the Invoker. They know that OG Origin does have a Invoker player, not sure exactly who, but that's the only reason you would ban it. Viper from OG Origin. Meaning that OG Origin might want to go a hero that does have a very strong passive So maybe Volt would like to ban the Timbersaw, or they would like to ban... Okay, not Timbersaw, because Mars is picked, so maybe they would like to ban...
5 seconds remaining.
Spectre, it could be Phantom Assassin even. Basically, it gives away that they do want to go for a hero that does have a strong passive. Could be even the Bristol back as well, because I have seen some teams playing Mars as pos 4, so this isn't necessarily a offlane Mars. A pos 3 Mars.
Radiant team ban.
Chaos Knight ban from Volt. Not exactly sure why that ban.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
And the Lifestealer does get banned from Ominous Gaming, and they immediately do pick the Juggernaut. Not wanting Juggernaut to slip through their fingers as they pick it third pick. They really don't want Volt to pick it themselves or to ban it. Really having a lot of confidence on that Juggernaut.
10 seconds remaining.
And now Volt is left to try and deal with Juggernaut if that's even possible.
5 seconds remaining.
The very least you can do if you are Volt is to get a disable that does go through magic immunity, so Juggernaut can't just spin TP every single fight.
Radiant team pick.
They do go for the Centaur War Runner, meaning it's not going to be a pos 3 Ogre Magi. It's going to be a pos 3 War Runner most likely, with a pos 5 Ogre Magi, and then Jakiro, we still don't know. Jakiro could go mid. Jakiro, we are unsure of.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
And that's going to be a Sand King pick for OG Origin. Sand King is a really pesky hero in lane. I'm not exactly sure how that Sand King will match up with whichever safe laner he's going to go against, but usually Sand King does have a lane where he can get at least quite a bit of farm, and if you're not careful, the Sand King might even be able to get a kill or two. Very dangerous hero and an extremely farm effective hero. You can just pop into the jungle. Very, very good offlaner. And it's one of those offlaners you can just completely leave if it's a good lane for him, and he's still going to be able to dominate. Volt do have the Centaur War Runner though, which is also a strong offlaner. I wouldn't say it's as strong as the Sand King though, but in the correct matchups, if it goes only against melee heroes, it's pretty strong. It is pretty strong against Juggernaut, and that's going to be a Slark pick for Volt IVE. Slark being very good against tanky heroes, so going to be able to get quite a lot of stacks off onto the Mars, and probably the Sand King as well. Yeah, Slark's just an extremely scary hero at the moment. Not one you want to play against. But there's so many heroes you don't want to play against. It's sometimes Slark just does slip through. And it is going to slip through this game, and that's going to be a really strong pickup for the side of Volt. Shakira's neck illuminates so beautifully.
Dire team back.
OG Origin does ban the Lina. It's pretty much, it's the most common 5th ban in the game. It must be, because every single time I see someone with a 5th ban, they ban Lina. I don't know why that's a
5
thing.
seconds remaining.
If she's easy to counter and that's why you don't have to ban her at the start, but then at the end, if it's still a good pick, then you have to ban it. I'm not sure, but I always see Lina getting banned as a 5th ban. Mid heroes do generally get picked last, so that could be one of the reasons.
Dire team pick.
And final ban there for the side of Vault is Meepo. Seems like Vault doesn't want to deal with the possibility of multiple units on the side of OG Origin, as they banned the Chaos Knight and the Meepo. Now Vault, they do have their final pick here. It is going to be a mid laner. They only have 9 seconds left in their reserve time, so they need to think quick here, and I'm not exactly sure what's strong against this lineup of OG Origin. It's a pretty difficult last pick. They might settle with a Storm since OG Origin doesn't have a ridiculous amount of lockdown. It's going to be a Monkey King pick for the last pick. A little bit of a confidence Monkey King pick. Not a hero you always see mid, but now that leaves OG Origin with the opportunity to possibly counter Monkey King mid, as Monkey King is not a hero that can always win the mid lane. That being said, it could all be a bait and Vault could be sending Jakiro mid. And there's very few heroes that do beat Jakiro mid, so we'll see about that. Last pick for OG Origin is the Arc Warden. I love this. I think this is an exceptional pick for OG Origin. I think it's going to do really well against the Monkey King, and it's going to scale really well into the mid to late game as well. I think they do have enough early game potential with the Juggernaut being a very aggressive carry to allow for an Arc Warden pick this game. I don't think it's too greedy at all. And let's have a look at the lineups to see who I think is going to win. So on the side of Vault, they do have very tanky supports, which I like. They do have the Jakiro, they do have the Ogre Magi, which means that Arc Warden is gonna struggle, is gonna take a lot longer before he can start killing off the supports with his Tempest double. But on the side of OG Origin, I think their lineup is really good, with the Sand King being able to fight quite aggressively early game and then securing the late game with that Arc Warden. I'm going to say I do favor OG Origin's matchup for this game. It's really close. I think both teams have very good drafts. Vault does have the potential to let Slark absolutely get out of control, but for this game I'm gonna go with OG Origin's draft. That's a very beautiful sensor. Looks like a proud old woman.
Absolutely perfect. How'd that happen?
Isn't that great? I think it's great. Let's see, both teams, neither of them doing a smoke or doing a 5-man group up at the moment, which you do see quite a bit with these team games. And already both teams are spamming their voice lines exactly the amount of times you would expect them to.
I can trust you guys.
Yes, do you have any more voice lines by any chance? Havoc in the bottom lane. He does get a really aggressive ward off here. They can maybe use this to try and contest the rune. Still 35 seconds until the runes spawn. Seems like mid lane, Slark and Ogre Magi are grouping up here. Not exactly sure what the plan is with that. Maybe they want to try and spot out someone placing a ward. They are gonna move towards the top ward now. I mean the top rune now, and see if they can contest their own rune. Mars is being really aggressive. He does have the Spear of Mars. If he times this correctly, he might be able to snatch this rune. Ogre Magi does wrap around though, and that's going to be enough for unique Mars to get back. Middle lane, both mid laners are blocking. Let's see who will win this block. Has 6-6, does not have a... Okay, does have a ward in the mid lane, fortunately. And 6-6 gets a perfect block off, more or less. That's going to be a really good block from 6-6. Monkey King does manage to get the deny off in time, though. Oh, nice deny there from Creamy Potatoes Jakiro. Between the trees. And Gambino and Unique. 4 melee heroes brawling it out in the top lane. It's going to be interesting to see. Wormy does have the bonus attack speed, the Bloodlust on level 1. So that's going to be pretty strong, I think, especially for this melee only lane. TXT, the bottom lane, does already have his Quilling Blade. And top lane, Gambino, these guys are really brawling it out. Gambino does have his Sandstorm for now, and there's no Sentry Ward to try and spot it out for the time being. Magic though in the top lane. It's going to drop pretty low to the Sandstorm of Sand King there. And 6-6 doesn't want to get that stacks off on him from the Monkey King. That's one more stack for the Monkey King, and then he's going to have the bonus damage. So that was maybe a little bit of an overextension there from 6-6, or maybe deciding it's not that bad if he gets his stacks.
You're not getting what you came for.
Monkey King middle lane is doing really well against this Arc Warden. 10 last hits already to the 5 of Arc Warden. But Arc Warden does have a full creep wave still to last hit, so maybe not as bad as it seems. Wormy and Magic. Slark Ogre Magi combo in the top lane, and bottom lane it's going to be Juggernaut still just farming here, while Havoc, they do force Havoc to use his Self though, so that's some regeneration gone from the Centaur Warrunner. And top lane, Slark is trying to get some agility stacks off onto Unique. He does get some stacks, which is really, I think it's a favorable matchup for the Slark because of all these melee heroes. And Slark does get a pounce off onto Unique. Unique is running away for the time being. He doesn't have his passive for now. Gambino does get his Burrow Strike off onto the Slark, and that's a huge spear from Unique. Is it going to be enough for the first blood? No, Wormy actually gets the first blood, and Magic is still alive for the time being. So maybe... And that's going to be a tip from the Centaur Warrunner onto Wormy. And Magic actually going on Sand King. He is getting the stacks off on the agility. And that's going to be another kill for the top lane of Vault Gaming. So maybe OG Origin miscalculating that initiation just a little bit. And that's going to be 2 kills for OG Origin. Fortunately though, Slark doesn't have a lot of regeneration left. In fact, he only has 1 Tango and 1 Shared Tango. So... they do at least force a lot of regeneration. He does have a courier on the way though. Courier is probably bringing a salve. It is bringing a salve, and it's going to bring a Wraith Band as well. Vox, bottom lane, is getting harassed so much by the Creamy Potato Jakiro. Really strong laner, and now he has the Dual Breath level 2 as well. Vox is forced to use that salve already. Middle lane, both of these are brawling it out quite handily in terms of last hits, and it seems like the Monkey King is leading by a little bit, but only a little bit. And the top lane for OG Origin was going so well until the double kill. It's still going pretty decently for an off lane. Creamy Potato gets a lot of damage off onto the Dark Willow. Dark Willow is forced to use his stun onto Havoc, and Dark Willow, 2 more hits should be enough to kill him. He is dropping pretty low. He doesn't have any magic stick charges left, and that's going to be enough for him to escape. Barely. Volt Magic top lane is going on the Sand King. They do get the kill on the Sand King with the burn damage from the Ogre Magi, and it seems like Slark is going to manage to escape once again. Slark, so confident. Look at him, he's going right in behind this Mars, and he doesn't seem like he's scared at all. That's going to be a bloodlust onto the Slark, and Unique, he does aggress onto Slark. He does have the shield crash as well, and it's going to be enough to damage him quite a bit, but Gambino does rotate in, and Slark did overextend a little bit there, and Wormy now dropping pretty low as well, and that's going to be a kill for Origin. Does manage to bring the lane back quite a bit. It is a kill onto the carry as well. So maybe Slark miscalculating it a little bit there. 6-6, middle lane does want to go on this Monkey King. Monkey King is getting harassed quite a bit by 6-6, and he is going to be forced to use the salve and also force a Creamy Potato rotation. And Arc Warden, he's gonna TP back to base, all the way back to base. He doesn't have any mana anymore, and maybe that dive actually did not work out as well for him as he might have planned.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Is it worth your life?
And Monkey King is gonna press the advantage now with Arc Warden not being in the lane, and he has 32 last hits now to the 26 of Arc Warden. Bottom lane, Juggernaut should be a little careful there. That got a little bit scary for him. He doesn't have any regeneration items left. He is gonna queue up the salve and the tango now, so that's on the way. He does have his magic immunity now, and Dark Willow is gonna use his stun on Creamy Potato, and it's gonna go into effect now. That's gonna be a dead Jakiro most likely. They do get the kill onto Jakiro now. Centaur Warrunner is not happy with what just happened. He wants to go on the Juggernaut, but simply cannot do so, as they do get the kill onto the Jakiro without any punishment from the side of Volt. It's a good kill there from OG Origin, even with the low HP from Juggernaut, maybe baiting the Jakiro a little bit how low HP he was. Middle lane, Unique, he does have the smoke up, and it's probably going to try and use this to gank the Monkey King. Unfortunately though, 6-6's lane is pushed out pretty far, and Unique, he's just running at the Monkey King. He doesn't care. Monkey King does have quite a lot of move speed though, and Unique is going to miss out on the opportunity to maybe kill the Monkey King there, as Monkey King does manage to back off in time, does spot out Unique in time. And now TXT, he does have the level 3 Blade Fury. Might want to aggress here, but the side of Vault Gaming are playing quite carefully as they do get back. And now Sand King doing exactly what I said, well, what they always do. They just take stacks and they farm the jungle. And bottom lane, they do get the kill onto the Centaur Warrunner with this roaming Mars. Seems like he did use his spear and his bulwark. And his God's Rebuke, I mean. And they do stun up the Jakiro, but Jakiro is pretty safe. He did get the regeneration rune as well, and now Jakiro thinking about maybe re-engaging, but he does miss his spell, and both of them do run into a bramble maze. Top lane, they are gonna maybe kill the Slark. Slark is dropping pretty low as well as Ogre Magi, but it seems like Volt are actually gonna manage to turn it around and get the kill on the Sand King. Sand King does get the return kill on the killing spree of Wormy though. Bottom lane, 3 euros from OG Origin are here, and it seems like Volt do know that they are planning on doing something. So they do get back for now wisely. Arc Warden managed to catch up with the last hits quite dandily. It's 53 now to the 52 of Monkey King. So they are even now. TXT is so aggressive in the bottom lane. Look at where he's going. He wants to go for this rune, and I think he's going to be able to get it unless Jakiro is... Okay, that's going to be a spear onto the Jakiro as well as a spin from Juggernaut. Jakiro might die here. He's dropping pretty low. He should be careful. That's going to be an Omni Slash onto the Jakiro, and it chases him with the max move speed from the Stampede. Havoc re-engaging onto the Juggernaut. Not going to be quite enough to kill him for now, although the Monkey King does TP in and Juggernaut does not have enough mana for his spin. Still, the push away from Unique will assure that Juggernaut is going to escape there.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And now Arc Warden with that Monkey King rotation is just going to push the middle lane along with the catapult. And Monkey King and Creamy Potato are both here now. They don't want to directly engage onto the Arc Warden as he jumps more towards the tower. Top lane, Gambino dropping really low. He does have the stun. He's going to use his salve. It's going to make him survive for a little bit longer. Magic thought he has the kill and he turned around. Maybe that's going to be enough for Gambino to get away, but no, Slark does get the kill there. And that's going to be another kill for this Slark. Still 2 for 2 for 3. They are contesting the Slark quite a bit, even with these kills he's been getting. Top lane, it seems like Mars does want to try and make a move onto the Slark, but Ogre Magi, they do turn around onto Mars. Mars is going to use his Arena of Blood. He's going to be able to escape for now, but Monkey King does get the final hit with his Boundless Strike. Gambino dropping pretty low, trying to get the kill on Slark, but Slark's going to survive, and they're going to get the kill onto the Sand King as well.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Havoc trying to get the stun off onto Juggernaut, but Juggernaut does manage to duke it out in time.
Dire's middle
Premium
tower
Potato is here now as well. He is trying to get the harassment off onto Juggernaut, and it does force Stampede to get used. So maybe a little bit of an overextension there from Jakiro as they do bait out the Centaur War Runner ultimate. And it's not going to be available for another 100 seconds. Spear onto Magic. Magic is going to be fine for now. Bottom lane, Havoc and Creamy Potato, even though they have been dying a bit here, are still playing it really aggressively. They do know that both of them are extremely tanky and they can still play very deep without dying. 6-6 is farming the jungle, but Monkey King is gonna spot out 6-6 in the jungle. 6-6 is pretty low mana now, so maybe Monkey King is calling for the Jakiro rotation. Jakiro is gonna rotate in now and probably wait for 6-6 to back off a little bit here, but Juggernaut in the top lane is gonna go onto Havoc. That's gonna be a Dark Willow ultimate as well as the stun, and Juggernaut, for some reason, he does use the Omni Slash, maybe just to assure the kill. And they also do not get the kill on 6-6, so pretty bad. That's pretty unfortunate there for the side of Vault, and really good for the side of Origin as they do get the kill and Arc Warden survives. Slark though in the top lane, he does have quite a lot of stacks on him. He has 4 permanent agility already, so actually these fights in the top lane is really favoring him quite a bit. Unique and Sandstorm and Gambino both waiting in the bushes. And Vault know exactly what's going on there. Both teams, it seems like both teams are still laning pretty much. Top lane, they do go on Mars. Mars is going to drop pretty low. He is going to miss his spear as well. He does have the ultimate, but I don't think he's going to use it. One more hit on the Mars should kill him. And that's going to be Slark dropping very low, but he is going to use his ultimate to survive for the time being. He is going to have to get back. Monkey King with the gank is going to be able to kill off the Mars. He is going to go onto the Sand King now as well. If they do not have detection on the Sand King, so Sand King is going to be able to survive for the time being. Monkey King still staying around here. The Centaur War Runner ultimate almost enough to kill the Sand King, but still they don't see him, so he barely survives that. Monkey King is going to jump onto Gambino. No, Gambino charges up his ultimate, but that's just going to be a dead Sand King from the damage of the Primal Spring.
Bounty.
Mars does spot out a low Ogre Magi, or does Ogre Magi spot out Mars? This Ogre Magi is going to go on him. Mars is going to get the kill on Wormy, but that's going to be a return kill on the Monkey King. So Monkey King getting even more farm now. Meanwhile, Arc Warden is farming quite a bit, 113 last hits already, so he's keeping his team in this game at the moment.
Middle tower is under attack.
Still both teams not really rotating 4 or 5 heroes yet. Both teams are pretty much still laning, as far as I can tell. Dark Willow in the bottom lane should be careful, as Monkey King is rotating in. I wonder if they spotted him there. Yeah, they definitely spotted him, as the tower does attack him. And Juggernaut not getting the stun off with his Squilling Blade quite in time.
Under attack. Radiant structures are fortified. Dire's
Bottom lane,
middle
it's
tower
going to be
is
the
under
Arc Willow in the bushes. He does use his ultimate, but he's going to get stunned up before that happens, and that's going to be a dead Dark Willow. Omni Slash is used. Monkey King out of position now. He is going to drop pretty low, and that's going to be a kill onto the Monkey King. Worth it at the moment for Origin Gaming. That's going to be a Centaur ultimate used for them to be able to get back for the time being. Gabino does have the Burrow Strike available.
Radiant's top tower.
He has ult in 10 more seconds. Oh, that's going to be a hoof stomp onto the Juggernaut. Juggernaut dropping pretty low. He does have his spin, but it's not going to be enough for him to survive. Or is it? Juggernaut does manage to escape for the time being. Sand King is going to die in his Sandstorm. 6-6 does use his Tempest double. They do want to fight this OG Origin, and maybe Vault Gaming did overextend a little bit here. That's going to be a Spears onto the Jakiro. Now the stun onto Centaur Warrunner as well. 6-6, he's tunnel visioning towards the Centaur Warrunner. Warrunner is going to try and use the hoof stomp to get out for now. And that's going to be a dead Arc Warden in the backline, as Magic does manage to pick off the Arc Warden. Juggernaut spin might be enough to kill Magic here, but he does have the pounce in 2 more seconds, and it seems like Magic is going to be able to purge off the stun in time, but that's a very big Spears from Mars, able to get the kill, and that's going to be a kill for Origin Esports. I mean, yeah, for Origin Esports. Now, Monkey King still primal springing around this area, even after he got spotted out last time. Oh no, Monkey King and Centaur Warrunner pressuring the bottom lane. Origin is going to TP in his Tempest double and see what he can do with it for now. Seems like he is actually doing quite a lot of damage on that Monkey King. Monkey King, he does get the Jingu Mastery stacks on the Tempest double though. Unique does get a spear off onto the Jakiro. It's not going to latch or anything, so it's fine. Oh, and Slark is gonna get helped a little bit here by the Centaur ultimate, and he should be able to see that he did get spotted out there with his ultimate not proccing. Meanwhile, everyone from both teams are farming pretty much. Havoc still pushing out this bottom lane, so even though he died in lane, he's really pressuring this lane quite a bit, to the extent where it's really worth it for his team. And now forces a Juggernaut rotation in the bottom lane. There is 3 euros for the side of Vault Gaming around this side of the map, and now Vault Gaming really has quite a lot of control. As you can see, they do have pretty much control over Origin's jungle, and I'm pretty sure Origin would not be very happy with that. And Vault 2 aggressive forwards, 3 aggressive forwards in fact. And that's going to be a stun onto the Mars. Mars going onto the high ground, never a good idea, as he is going to use his Arena of Blood. Unique, still alive somehow with the Juggernaut heal. Vox gonna go onto 2, both of them very low and grouped up. That's gonna be a Monkey King dead, and it's also gonna be Slog dropped very low. Magic does manage to use his Shadow Blade in time though, and he's gonna re-initiate onto Vox for the time being. That's an Omni Slash onto the Centaur Warrunner. Warrunner does have the stun on him though, so that's gonna be Warrunner maybe a little bit out of position. Unique still fighting even with his low HP. And that's going to be a stun onto the Centaur Warrunner, and that should be enough to get the kill onto the Centaur. And maybe Vault Gaming giving up their advantage a little bit there, as they did have a lot of control in Origin's jungle there, but maybe taking a fight they shouldn't take. And that's going to be 3 of them dead, and more than a 2k net worth lead for Origin at the moment. Meanwhile, Arc Warden is still just farming 175 last hits already, and leading net worth by quite a bit, by 2k gold at the moment. Just doing Arc Warden things pretty much. And it does spot that both camps are blocked out, so very uncomfortable for 6-6. And they'll have to probably try and de-ward those wards from Vault Gaming. Middle lane, Wormy is a little bit deep, but he does get the multicast off onto Gambino, which means Gambino is going to drop pretty low. Bottom lane, the real Arc Warden is going on Havoc. Havoc does have his ultimate. He's probably going to try and force out the Stampede here from the Centaur Warrunner, but Centaur's not going to use it. Mars does rotate in as well, but it's a little late, as Warrunner has already escaped here. Magic wants to be aggressive. He tries to get the pounce on Vox, but I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but Vox does manage to dodge the pounce from the Slog. Arena of Blood onto 3 euros. He is going to get the Spear of Mars onto the Monkey King. This is a huge Arena of Blood, and that's going to be an epicenter as well. That's a huge team fight for the side of OG Origin. Gambino does get the double kill. They do want to chase Wormy as well here. Wormy dropping pretty low. He does have the Venom on him, and that's going to be 3 kills for the side of OG Origin. Vault Gaming maybe overextending a little bit there. Huge Arena of Blood there, really. Like that got 4 euros, and then I think Slog bounced out or something. That was insane. Middle lane, it seems like OG Origin do want to press the advantage now and get this tier 2 in the middle lane. And Vault just overstaying a little bit there. And that's going to be a stun onto Havoc's Centaur Warrunner. They're going to be forced to use the Cursed Crown on Centaur Warrunner as well. That's going to be a 3-man hoof stomp. Is it going to be enough for him to escape? No, of course it's not, as Gambino is going to get the kill with his Burrow Strike. And that's going to leave Vault Gaming with quite a net worth disadvantage now. It was pretty even, but now 5k lead for the side of Origin Gaming, and then also they lost their tier 2 tower mid. A lot of things coming through from the side of Vault Gaming. They do expect OG Origin to have some aggressive wards up here, but they can't quite pin where it is, and OG Origin's ward is going to survive.
Radiant are scanning.
And things have really calmed down for the time being. Maybe we can look at item slots. No, Magic is going to go on 6 to 6 in the top triangle. And that's going to be Magic backing off for now. Almost gets the kill on the Arc Warden.
Radiant's middle tower is under.
Okay, let's have a look at the item builds. Arc Warden is gonna go for the Miona pickup here, but since a Warrunner is forced to use his ultimate in the bottom lane, it's not gonna be enough as Juggernaut does manage to keep up with his Omni Slash. But 3 TP rotations from the side of Vault Gaming. They want to re-engage here. Omni Slash not gonna be enough. And that's 4 euros from the side of Vault Gaming in the bottom lane. Now meanwhile, 66 tries to kill the Zakira in the middle lane. Not gonna get that kill though. And Juggernaut is farming up his Miona. Same as Arc Warden, who already does have his Miona. Sand King. He did go for the Blink Dagger first, did not go for the Veil of Discord build. His team already has enough damage as is, so just decides to go for the Blink Dagger, and then to help his team he does have the Pipe of Insight to help against the Jakiro and the Ogre Magi. And Centaur with the Manta style, able to debuff quite a lot of the to dodge stun animations like Ogre Magi's, and to be able to debuff the slow like Jakiro slow. Just a really strong item. Gives you quite a lot of damage, quite a lot of survivability. The debuff is really strong. And then Monkey King going for a Maelstrom as well. Maelstrom's right across this game at the moment, as it seems like every single carry in the game lately buys a Maelstrom. Even IO carry. And Vault seems like they do want to chase this Mars here. It's going to be pretty deep, so they do decide to back off. Ogre Magi, pretty underfarmed. He's not going to go for the Hand of Midas, as his team is pretty far behind, and he doesn't think that's going to be something he can afford going. He is going to go for the Fall Staff though, to be able to save his teammates. And to get a little better initiation off. Magic top lane is going to go on the Sand King. Sand King does have the Sandstorm, and that's going to be an arena of blood from the Mars. Sand King is going to use his Epicenter as well. And Slog's just going to bounce out for the time being. Monkey King is going to get feared away by the Dark Willow. Very good ultimate from Dark Willow. Nice Terrorize. And that's an aggressive ward getting pinged out immediately by the Juggernaut. 6 to 6. Unique. Maybe a little bit out of position on the Mars, as he is going to get hoof stomped here, and that's going to be a kill onto the Mars. But 6 to 6 is going to go on Ogre Magi, and is going to get the double kill as well. That's a buyback from Mars. Slog is dropping pretty low. He does have the Shadow Blade and 1 charges though. That's going to be a... Ooh, that's almost a kill onto the Slog with the dust. And Ogre Magi buying back as well now. He decides he needs to defend the bottom lane, as he is going to Bloodlust the tower and defend the creeps here. And that's going to be enough for Juggernaut to fall back. Juggernaut now maybe should be a little careful here. He's going to get back.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Oh, Slog being extremely aggressive between 3 heroes there. That's going to be an arena of blood onto the Slog. Slog can just run through it because he does have the BKB active, and he's getting so many stacks at the moment. Now Monkey King rotating in as well. He is going to help the Slog, and this seems like this might be actually a good fight for Vault Gaming, as the Juggernaut is going to spin. He is going to use his Manta style defensively, trying to run out at the moment. 66 does so much damage with his Miona. Slog dropping really low. It's going to be a Terrorize onto Slog, so that's going to be a kill onto the Slog. Mars also falling 6 to 6, does get the double kill as well. This Miona of him doing so much damage, and Wormy out of position now as well, does get the kill with the Spark Wraith, and that's going to be justifiably a tip to the Arc Warden. And now Monkey King. Vault Gaming getting quite desperate with those fights they're taking. For a moment there it looked like it could be a good fight for them. They are pretty strong. Maybe they don't have to fight that deep. Maybe they think they have to because they have to catch Origin off guard.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Still, the Slark is very confident, to say the least. He's going in between all of them. That plus 10 strength talent tree giving him all the confidence in the world. And now OG Origin have control for the time being over Vault's jungle. They do farm it out with the Juggernaut. And Arc Warden just leading so far in net worth at the moment. He's 5k above his own teammate who is in second place. 20,000 net worth in 30 minutes. Pretty farmed Arc Warden. Mars maybe a little bit deep in this middle lane. Yeah, he's gonna get saved by his Dark Willow though with that Bramble Maze. And now it seems like all 5 heroes for Vault Gaming are grouping up towards this middle section of the map. Slark wants to be really aggressive here. He spots out the Sand King. Sand King is still in Sandstorm at the moment, so that's gonna be almost a bounce onto the Sand King. It's gonna be Hoof Stomp onto the Dark Willow. Dark Willow is going to fall. Middle tower taken by Vault Gaming. Now Vault Gaming are going to look towards Roshan and see if they can take it without OG Origin contesting it, but OG Origin immediately scan it out, and they do know that Vault Gaming is taking Roche at the moment. Mars does have his Arena of Blood here, so this could be a good fight for the side of OG Origin. Chikiro is chilling outside the Roche pit at the moment, waiting for OG Origin to initiate. Arena of Blood is used, but it's not going to catch anyone except for the Juggernaut, which is his own teammate. And he does get the spear off onto Wormies. Ogre Major, that's going to be an Army Slash onto 2 heroes. It's going to bounce onto Roche, very unfortunate for the Juggernaut. And now 4 heroes grouping up for the side of Vault Gaming, spin by Juggernaut. Monkey King is forced to use his BKB now. And Gambino still wants to go on the Monkey King, even with the BKB. The BKB is kind of... Oh, and that's just big save from the Centaur Warrunner, being able to save his Monkey King there with the Hoof Stomp. But Slark does die as he does overextend a little bit there. And Dark Willow does cast his Cursed Crown onto the Monkey King. And now OG Origin, they wanted to maybe contest Roche, but they're not going to go for Roche. They want to push now with the fact that they did get the Slark kill and I believe a buyback as well. And that Arc Warden magnetic field just giving them so much attack speed to be able to take that Rax. And they should be able to take even both Raxes here on the side of OG Origin, and they even want to go for the top Rax. They really want Vault Gaming to respawn, and Vault Gaming simply can't respawn without the Slark. They're pushing the top barracks now as well. That's going to be an Ice Wall onto 2 heroes, but Monkey King, that's going to be a Hoof Stomp onto 3 heroes. That's a pretty big Hoof Stomp, but is it going to be able to do anything as the Cursed Crown does come out onto the Centaur Warrunner? And now OG Origin, they just push the top Rax. Arena of Blood onto Centaur Warrunner. It is going to be a spear as well. It's going to be a fear on the Centaur Warrunner. And now Monkey King does use his ultimate. It is enough to drop the Mars. Dark Willow is trying to get back for now, as does is 6-6, as Slark did respawn. And that's a pretty good fight for Vault Gaming, but that's an Epicenter onto 3 with 2 stuns, triple kill for the Sand King, and he's going to try and get Magic as well. Magic dropping pretty low, does have his ultimate in time though, but that was almost a good fight for Vault Gaming until OG Origin Sand King just hammered in there and got 3 kills.
Absolutely perfect.
Huge Epicenter from the Sand King. It doesn't even need the Veil of Discord. If you had a Veil of Discord there, it would have been ultra kill. Still, I do like the Sand King's build, don't get me wrong. I think the Crimson Guard with the Pipe of Insight and the Bracer makes him so tanky. Gives them the tank they need, since the Mars isn't a core this game, so they did need a tank, and they do need the Pipe of Insight as well to counter out that Jakiro and the Ogre Magi. And Magic just playing aggressive as ever. Vox does manage to get quite an aggressive ward down without Volt spotting it out. That's a pretty cheeky ward, and I think it's gonna stay there because there's no reason for Volt to expect a ward to be there. And now Dark Willow, he does have his Heal Scepter after those fights that happened. It should help him escape quite easily now. He is forced to use the Terrorize. It's not going to be enough though, since Monkey King does have the BKB. He is going to use Shadow Realm. It should help him escape for the time being. He doesn't have the Heal Scepter anymore. And now Centaur Warrunner does use his Stampede to go on the Sand King. Sand King may be a little bit out of position though, but he's so tanky. And that's going to be Arena of Blood onto 3 Euros from the Mars. Vox is on the sidelines ready to re-engage. Gambino now dropping pretty low. He does have the epicenter, but he's really low and he needs to try and escape. They are going to get the kill on the Sand King. Somehow Volt is winning this fight. Volt is doing it. Bottom lane 6-6. Maybe a little bit out of position. Magic does manage to get the pounce onto 6-6, and he does manage to escape as well. Now Mars wants to chase them, but Monkey King Primal Spring into the backline is trying to go onto the Dark Willow, and it is going to be a kill onto Dark Willow, but the Juggernaut Omni Slash is going to be a kill. It's going to get a kill for the side of OG Origin onto the Monkey King. And now that did force a buyback from Dark Willow. They do try to go on the Ogre Magi as well. Ogre Magi does manage to escape for now. He does have that force off. And look at Volt's base. They just go for one fight, and fortunately I don't think they lost that much. While all of that happened, it seems like Juggernaut was pushing middle, and that's why they got that Drax. It says here that Juggernaut did get the dire ranged barracks in the middle of that fight, and that's something I completely missed. And Juggernaut really close to his Eye of Skadi now, gonna make him extremely tanky. Does have the Manta style as well, so all these ultimate orbs are doing quite a lot of work for Juggernaut, getting his agility and his strength up quite a bit. More HP, more armor, more everything. Magic now with the double damage, not gonna look to do something too aggressive with it, except farm a little bit. Top lane 6-6 does get the slow off onto the Monkey King. This Tempest double from Arc Warden is just ridiculously strong, and Monkey King trying to kill it off, but the Tempest double is stronger than he is. Monkey King does get some stacks off on his lifesteal though, so that is enough for him to be able to lifesteal.
Dire's top shrine is under attack.
So Monkey King not actually hitting the creeps. I thought he'd hit the creeps so he can lifesteal back. Centaur Warrunner does pause the game, so maybe that means that Monkey King disconnected. Okay, game froze ready is called.
Dire are scanning.
Sorry, I was AFK there for a bit. It seems like Origin want to take the Roche here, and Volts Gaming should be aware that this Roche is up. They are under smoke of the seed, so they are really aware that this is happening, and that's going to be a Centaur War Runner ultimate, as well as the Arena of Blood onto the Slark. Slark is dropping pretty low, but he does have the BKB, and he is going to get the kill onto Mars. Epicenter onto the Slark. Slark is getting hexed up as well, so that's going to be a kill on Slark. Slark is forced to use his buyback. He doesn't have a TP, so that means OG Origin are leading this fight at the moment, but Centaur War Runner does have the buyback as well. OG Origin, Volt Gaming really wants to get this Roche. Wormy pretty deep there. He does manage to get the stun off before force-staffing out. And now it seems like Juggernaut wants to come in the backline to kill off this Ogre Magi, and Ogre Magi is going to fall with the help of Sand King. Magic is going to be able to leap up to the high ground, and that's three buybacks now from the side of Volt Gaming and 0 from the side of Origin, and Origin still wants to contest this Roche, and maybe they're gonna get it before Volt Gaming can do anything about it, and that's going to be Aegis onto 6-6. Havoc does get a hoof stomp onto the Juggernaut. Now Centaur War Runner is going to get stunned up as well. Slark bouncing into the backline. He wants to remove this Aegis from the Arc Warden. Arc Warden does have a Scythe of Ice though, so he needs to be careful. Centaur War Runner getting forced off out for the time being. That's going to be a Macro Pyre as well from the Jakira. Slark does escape for the time being, and that's going to be a kill onto the Centaur War Runner now as well. Monkey King in the middle lane. He is going to get Yule scepted up. He does have the BKB ready, and he does have the Wukong's command as well, so he wants to re-engage here onto the Juggernaut. 6-6 in the backline though, does get the kill onto Magic's Slark, and now Volt Gaming doesn't have any buybacks. Arc Warden didn't lose his Aegis of Immortality, so OG Origin should be able to push out this middle lane. And it's going to be a stun onto the Monkey King. Monkey King gets scythe up as well. And now OG Origin are finishing the game, and this should be a GG call from Volt Gaming, as all 5 players from OG Origin are pushing mid. GG is called. It is a 42-minute game, a pretty close game. Okay, that's the first game done. We are going to take a break now, 10-minute break. Money, 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 money.
question for the Q&A. Did you vlog a date with this video? Okay, I think we need to start with the most important question. This was not answered in the last video. I promised you to show you a Norwegian Big Mac, but I never did. Cowboy 3. How does a Norwegian Big Mac look like? I know a lot of you were disappointed. I saw probably like 100 comments about the Norwegian Big Mac. So, I thought we'd start today with showing you how a Norwegian Big Mac looks like. I think it looks like pretty much like any other Big Mac. It's just a little bit more expensive. This Big Mac cost me $7. Comment ask what your diet looks like. How many meals do you have per day? Do you snack? And do you count calories and things like that? Thanks. I usually eat like not many meals, but really big meals. I don't snack that much, but I know a lot of other climbers do. I'm usually pretty busy, so I don't really have time to snack that much. And sometimes I even skip breakfast, and that's not because I'm fasting or anything, it's just because it's probably my least favorite meal of the day. When my body isn't ready, I'm not that hungry. I actually followed the diet for a while. I tried it for like half a year, and it did not work for me at all. The diet was like a high protein diet, so I ate twice my
Okay, we are back. OG Origin versus Vault Game 2. OG Origin managed to win the first game after both teams fought very hard for that game. And now we're just waiting for players to connect. Hopefully all of them connect this time. Nope. Let's wait for them to see what happened. Seems like Wormy is having some trouble. Well, there was a 10-minute break, and then there was an update which adds even more 10 minutes, so they are technically allowed to be 40 minutes late before they get the loss. I don't know how late they are now. Let me have a look. I think the game was done 40 past 8. It's almost 10 past 9 now. They only have 12 more minutes before they actually get a forfeit for this game. But I won't tell them that. I don't think it's necessary to forfeit them for having a little bit of trouble. Yeah, just waiting for Wormy's computer.
especially when it gets 2 strikes.
Okay. Okay, we are back. We are not sure if the other player is going to reconnect, but it seems like he does connect. And this is game 2 on the way. Underway. And first ban goes to OG Origin this game, as well as the first pick. So first pick for OG Origin is going to be the Sand King. And then now it's Volt's turn to ban. Volt might want to ban the Enchantress is a really good ban, and Ominous Gaming, they do have first pick this game, so they probably won't be banning the Wind. I won't be surprised to see them first pick Wind if it doesn't get banned. Grimstroke, second ban for OG Origin. Volt with the Warlock ban. Yeah, Warlock nowadays is pretty OP. It's the most banned / picked hero nowadays, I think. I could be very wrong on that. And that's going to be the Tusk ban from OG Origin. Not wanting to get ganked early game and have the enemy team saved by that snowball.
Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
5 seconds left for Vault to ban before it runs into the reserve time. It does run into the reserve time, and they do ban the Wind Ranger, not wanting the first pick Wind Ranger from OG Origin. Ogre Magi, first pick from OG Origin. Again, no idea if it's gonna what position it's going to be, which is one of the reasons it's such a good first pick. You can adapt it according to how you, according to the other picks and the other bands.
Radiant team pick.
Undying, very aggressive pick there from Vault. Wanting to either secure the safe lane or secure the off lane. And have a very fight orientated lane, as Undying is usually a hero you really want to fight with quite a bit. Those DK stacks with the Tombstone, two of the best early game abilities in the game. And now Vault running into the reserve time for their second pick. They might consider getting the... Not sure actually. Could get an Oracle, yeah.
Dire team pick.
They do pick the Shadow Shaman, so Vault going for extremely different type of lineup this game. And OG Origin, they just pick the Invoker second. They do not want Vault to ban it again, and now it's second pick for them. I'm guessing they do have a player that plays Invoker quite a bit, so we'll see exactly who that is. Now, Vault does have 3 more bans and 3 more picks to try and deal with this Invoker, so OG Origin really confident in the ability of their Invoker player to be able to play even when there's a team counterpicking him.
5 seconds remaining.
Vault will most likely, not most likely, but Alina mid I know is very good against Invoker.
Dire team ban.
Mars gets banned by Vault.
Radiant team ban.
Now, OG Origin does not want the Invoker to lane against the Templar Assassin. Templar also pretty good against Invoker, forces him to use the Ice Wall, since that's pretty much all that can break through the refraction. That's all Forge Spirits, kind of. Fourth pick here for Vault, fourth ban. Fifth ban. It's gonna be...
5 seconds remaining.
Not sure. They'll probably want to ban a carry hero here, or an offlaner. Maybe they ban the Life Stealer. Or they can ban Slark. Slark not necessarily. They do ban the Juggernauts. Not wanting to play against the Juggernauts. I do believe it was a Juggernaut for OG Origin the first game as their third pick.
Dire team pick.
Third pick now for Vault is going to be the Viper. It's not going to get banned out this time by OG Origin. So Vault believe Viper is a good laner against the Invoker, and I tend to agree. I think Viper is going to do well. Now OG Origin left with the decision
10
to...
seconds remaining.
They could actually be playing the support Invoker, to be
5
honest.
seconds
I have seen it by Team Secret. It could be a complete bait. Third pick here by OG Origin. I'm guessing it's gonna be Lifestealer. Just a random guess.
Radiant team pick.
And it's the Bounty Hunter pick. OG Origin going completely different lineup as they did the previous game. Same for Vault. Vault seems like they're going for heroes they feel comfortable with this game, and it seems like OG Origin definitely also going for those types of heroes. Got Invoker, definitely have a very good Invoker player, and then Bounty Hunter is also pretty scary. And I'm almost certain one of them plays a lot of Bounty Hunter. Because it's not an extremely meta hero, it's just a hero I think they're comfortable with. Vault now with the fourth pick. Fourth pick. Could be an offlane hero now. Maybe Bristol Bear. They do pick the Centaur War Runner again. Centaur did do quite a lot of work for them the first game, pushing out that bottom lane. And surprisingly, I've seen no axes today. Between the 4 games I've casted, not a single team has banned or picked axe. So that's Alchemist, 4th pick for OG Origin. Very unpredictable lineup here from OG Origin. I think Vault has no idea what to ban. And maybe Alchemist is going to go mid instead of the Invoker, but I doubt it. I think it is going to be a safe lane Alchemist. Has the potential to really spiral out of control if Vault doesn't control it correctly. Fifth pick now for Vault. It might be Lina. No. I have no idea. I don't know if this Viper is mid or if this Undying is boss 4 or boss 3. I don't even know if Vault's gonna pick a mid or... I have no idea. 5th band, 6th band though is a Lion, so they are expecting Ominous Gaming to pick a support now. So they do believe it is a carry Alchemist, a pos 3 Bounty, and a mid Invoker, therefore they banned a pos 5. And Ominous Gaming, they do get the Rubik off, so a lot of comfortable heroes now for Ominous Gaming. Rubik and the Bounty and the Invoker. So I feel like Vault, will they take into consideration the Rubik when picking a hero? Most teams don't, because I don't think that's I think that's playing to lose. If you start thinking about what spells the Rubik is gonna steal, and that's a Sven final pick. That's a pretty good Sven pick, I think. Not really a counter for Sven this game, except maybe the armor reduction a little bit. As long as the ability of Invoker to kite him quite a bit with his Tornado and Deafening Blast. So it is going to be 6-6 on the Invoker, so that's going to be a mid Invoker. And on Vault's side, Magic is going to play the Sven, which I believe means it's going to be a carry Sven. Well, yeah, it is going to be a carry Sven, a safe lane Sven. And Unique is playing the Rubik. Okay, here we go. The second game of Origin Gaming versus Vault is underway. We did have some technical difficulties, which is why we waited quite a bit for the second game. And now, Viper. Middle lane is going to place the observer ward already. Not placing it from the shadows, not thinking that anyone from Origin Esports is going to try and spot it out.
Profitable engagement.
Invoker does have the cold snap level 1, you'll usually see the Sunstrike. Interesting to see, it is.
Now.
He does have the child Invoker, and of course he is going to spam the voice lines for it. I expect nothing different. Bottom lane, the bouncy hunter. Seems like he does want to contest this rune from Vault. Kribrick already gonna get a stack of strength steal off onto the bounty hunter, and bounty hunter, I think that's gonna kill for him to get back, and both teams should be getting 2 wards here. I mean 2 bounty runes. Sven gonna contest the rune. He could get this bounty rune. That's gonna be 3 runes for the side of Vault Gaming. Seb indeed. That's a very long Seb. Okay, here we go. Middle lane, it is going to be an Invoker Viper matchup. I think it is a Viper favored matchup, if I'm not mistaken. Invoker already forced to use the cold snap onto the Viper. It's going to do quite a bit of damage. Both heroes being quite aggressive to each other in that middle lane already. And now top lane, Havoc being quite aggressive against Vox and TXT. They are playing drums. Okay, yeah, it's just a party in the top lane. It's actually a party there. Middle lane, it is going to be a Quas Wex Invoker, not an Exalt. So they want to have max control with the Invoker this game. And magic in this bottom lane. He is gonna get Janarded quite a bit by this bounty hunter, as both of them are melee heroes, and he's just gonna have to accept that fact and accept the fact that he is going to lose quite a bit of gold from that bounty hunter. And then also it is a bounty hunter carry, so bounty might be able to get quite a lot of farm in this bottom lane. Viper already starting to stack the jungle, playing him exactly as you'd see an alchemist being played, and he does get both stacks off, so Viper, if this goes well, could get a ridiculous amount of farm at the start of the game. There is an arcane rune top. Havoc does get a double hoof stomp off onto Vox and TXT. And first blood in the bottom lane against the Rubik. They did use this fence stun and the strength steal onto the Rubik. Gambino now trying to not die. He is not going to die, so that's at least good. Middle lane, the Invoker. Both of them being pretty aggressive. It seems like Invoker did use his Tornado and his Cold Snap onto the Viper, which is why the Viper has lost quite a chunk of HP. Top lane though, Havoc is dropping pretty low as well as TXT. One more hit should kill TXT, and that's going to be a kill onto the Alchemist by Creamy Potatoes, Shadow Shaman. And then bottom lane, Sven is going to die there. Krubik as well on the Undying, falling pretty low. And that's going to be a kill for the Bounty Hunter. Now Undying very low, he has to go back to base, and that's not something you want if you're Undying, since Finn has to TP in now and he's gonna be a solo laner for the time being. 6-6 does spot out the arcane rune top and is maybe gonna use this to try and harass the Viper a little bit. Viper meanwhile got another 2 stacks off. So that jungle is going to start looking really juicy for the Viper quite soon. Creamy Potato is getting harassed in the top lane by the Ogre Magi's. He ignite. Bottom lane, Gambino dropping pretty low. Sven did use a stun though. Middle. Alright. 6 to 6. Again, does use his cold snap onto the Viper to try and harass him a little bit. And it is working quite well as some harassment is coming through onto the Viper. Alchemist is using his acid spray to zone out the enemies and get as many last hits as possible. That's going to be a Sven stun just for the last hit. It is interesting to note that Sven is maxing his Storm Hammer so far, so maybe not going so hard for the farming build and maybe more for a fighting Sven. TXT and Havoc both contesting the same last hit, and it seems like none of them will get it in the end. 6 to 6 does use the cold snap onto the Viper just to harass him a little bit. Not going to be as effective this time. Bottom lane, both supports are harassing each other. Both of them want to get this bounty rune, and it seems like Unique really wants to contest the bounty rune of Krubik, but is not going to be able to get both, and that's going to be 2 runes for both teams, as none of them managed to contest it successfully. Alchemist though, 28 last hits already. Viper the most impressive so far, as he has 27 last hits and still has these stacks to farm. So Viper doing really well. He's gonna start, I think he's gonna start spiraling out of control as soon as he starts getting these camps. Bottom lane though, seems like both teams are being a little cautious, but they do have a lot of mana, so there should be some initiation coming in quite soon. Magic does have the stun onto the Bounty Hunter. He does have the shield as well, so he is going to go on the Bounty Hunter. Bounty Hunter does get the kill, and he has the magic stick as well, so that's going to be a kill and a tombstone kill. So more than 300 gold there for the Bounty Hunter, and no kills for the side of Vault Gaming. Very well played from the Bounty, as well as the Rubik. Top lane. They do have a lot of mana, so there should be initiation coming in quite soon. Now Sven does TP back in. He is really tanky, so it's gonna take a lot for Origin to kill him off, especially now with that magic wand as well. Creamy Potato tries to be a little aggressive on the Alchemist, but decides it's too deep. Bottom lane, Undying's trying to do a little bit of a wraparound move here. It's going to get a strength steal off onto the Bounty Hunter. And now Viper has been forced to use a lot of clarities here, as he does not want to buy that bottle on a Viper. And now Krubik dropping pretty low as an Undying in the bottom lane, as well as Sven. Maybe with all the spec damage that Origin did, they might go on the Sven quite soon. Gambino still going on Sven. He just wants to steal his money. He does have enough mana now for a Shuriken toss as well. With both of the players on Vault being pretty low in this bottom lane, they might decide to try and get a kill here. Sven probably gonna wait for... No, he doesn't even have his elf. Krubik dropping pretty low with the shock as well. He's going to... Oh no, that's a crit onto Krubik, and that's going to be a killing spree now for Gambino. Gambino wants to dive even further. He's gonna have the Shuriken toss as well. He's tower diving here with a Bounty Hunter. He does have the crit off of cooldown, and that might be a dominating double kill for Gambino. Very good Bounty Hunter player, and that's going to be a tombstone in the bottom lane. Not going to do much though, as Gambino will be able to escape rather comfortably.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And now Gambino, he does have that phase boots as well, so starting to get really tanky with his 14 armor, as well as the 4.3 HP regeneration. Invoker struggling quite a bit against this Viper. Again, Viper is stacking camps. This isn't his main source of farm, or it is. middle lane, he still has 57 last hits while stacking camps. It's pretty insane. And now Viper goes and he is going to start farming the camps. He does have the Rod of Atos queued up, so he is going to play aggressively as soon as he starts getting that Rod of Atos. 6-6 does go on Creamy Potato. Shadow Shaman maybe a little bit out of position here as they do get that kill. Shaman doesn't have a ward, so I'm not exactly sure what he wanted to do there. But I do not see the entire context. And Viper does farm up all these stacks and now he just shrines. He's going to farm one more camp normally. And that's 75 last hits now in 9 minutes for the Viper. So a lot of farm for the Viper. Krubik, bottom lane, needs to be careful. That shock does a lot of damage, as well as the bounty hunter if he manages to rotate in. Krubik very low HP, doesn't have any regeneration either, so he really has to be careful here. He is going to use the tombstone, but I think Gambino is going to turn on them. He does have the shuriken toss available, and now they just destroy the tome. That's 125 gold for the Rubik. Magic re-engages onto Gambino. He does have the stun in 3 seconds. Undying, and this is a 6-6 rotation onto the Undying. Undying is going to fall here. That's another kill. That's a mega kill for the Undying. And that Stampede used by the Centaur Warrunner. It seems like Magic does want to get both bounty runes. And Vault do manage to get 3 bounty runes there at the very least. 6-6 still being aggressive, but he's getting blocked by his own creeps. There's a Viper in behind him though. He doesn't have the Rod of Atos yet, but still he does a lot of damage. That's a strength steal onto the Invoker as well. Is he going to get the Ghost Walk off in time? He does get it off, and he gets a triple tornado, which should be enough for him to escape. Oh, he actually gets killed off there by the Viper. Very good snipe with the Nether Toxin. Vox being aggressive onto the Shadow Shaman. Doesn't have the stun in time though, so Shadow Shaman is going to be able to escape. Shaman still. They're still trying to do something here. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not sure what it is. And I would like to know. I think it's probably just trying to de-ward, if I'm guessing. He does have a couple of wards. So that's going to be a stun onto the Centaur Warrunner in the top lane. Both of them do manage to dodge the hoof stomp from the Centaur Warrunner. And now a block from the Ogre Magi. And that's going to be a kill for Ogre Magi onto the Centaur Warrunner in the top lane. So a Nateworth lead now for OG Origin. Bottom lane, they do initiate on the Bounty Hunter. They do have the Tombstone as well as this Fence Town. Bounty Hunter does not have his invisibility yet. He does have a lot of move speed though with his Phase Boot. And Rubik, level 7 already. Very strong support this game with 2 braces and level 7. Will be able to steal the Warcry from Sven and give his Bounty Hunter a shield. Bounty Hunter is gonna get salved up as well. Forces Sven to use the stun, so... And Sven actually loses a lot of HP then. Unique is going to initiate onto Sven with the Storm Hammer. Sven uses his ultimate. Is it going to be enough? No, it's not, as Rubik does get the last hit onto Sven. Now Bounty Hunter wants to dive the Undying as well, and they do so successfully, as that's a double kill for Unique. Rubik. Invoker going top. He does have the Tornado Cold Snap. Might try to initiate onto this Shadow Shaman. Shadow Shaman though is wise and he will get back. Oh, and it barely misses. The combo barely misses with the Urn of Shadows. No more charges of Urn of Shadows for the Invoker, as he just got it. And that's going to be Shadow Shaman escaping. That's a lot of ATOS onto the Ogre Magi. Ogre Magi trying to TP out in time, but this damage from the Viper is so insane. Ogre Magi barely survives it. It's not necessary for him to buy a Fairy Fire in base, but still very close from the Viper. Now the Viper though, he doesn't have enough mana to be able to go for another engagement. Bottom lane though, it seems like they are trying to initiate onto the Sven, and now Bounty Hunter's a little bit out of position as he is going to get shackled up here. Bounty does not have his invis. That's a 2-man stun from the Rubik. Almost gets 2 kills there, but it is going to be a kill onto the Bounty Hunter now. Rubik is trying his best to escape. He does have quite a bit of move speed with the arcane boots and the windlace. Viper is going to TP, and he does have the Rod of Atos, and that's going to be enough for them to kill off the Rubik. Invoker TP's mid. Might try to push this tier 1 tower mid as the Viper is currently bottom. The Shadow Shaman is here to contest it, but he has no mana, so he might just shocks a couple of creeps and gets back.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Bottom lane, Gambino is getting dove by the Sven. Sven does not have his Storm Hammer off of cooldown, and now Rubik lifts him into the tower. He doesn't have a spell stolen at the moment, and Viper also rotates it in. That's going to be a Nether Toxin. He's trying to catch off the Rubik, but maybe the Rubik's trying to catch off the Viper, as Rubik is actually chasing towards the Viper, and he does have a Nether Toxin of his own. That Nether Toxin does so much damage. Viper is going to Rod of Atos, the Bounty Hunter, and it is the Viper that falls bottom. And Volt does get a return kill onto the Ogre Magi in the top lane. Alchemist does manage to get both bounty runes though. And Origin getting 4 runes there, so yeah, that's very, very good for Origin. Bounty runes being so strong. Invoker combo onto the Sven. Tornado into the EMP, and it's going to be enough with the Rubik to kill down the Sven in the middle lane. I think Bounty Hunter was a little bit too late to get the AoE gold. Still though, Bounty Hunter does have his invisibility now, and it seems like he does want to use it to try and snipe people off of the map. Rubik currently is farming in the bottom lane. He did see Bounty Hunter mid, so maybe he feels safe. Now he gets tracked, and now he does X-ping himself, but he is getting mounted so quickly, and that's going to be a kill for the Bounty Hunter. Even another kill for him. 7 for 1 bounty right now. Vox getting a defensive ward down along with the sentry. Viper does have the Rod of Atos, and he has a mechanism queued up right now as well. Middle lane Shadow Shaman is trying to get a little bit of farm so he can be stronger than he is at the moment. He is pretty farmed for a support, I'd say. Seems like he is trying to save up for that Blink Dagger. Bounty Hunter is bloodlusted, and he wants to try and snipe someone from Vault Gaming. He's going pretty deep into the jungle, and he's going to spot Sven now. He does have the track available, and he is going on Sven. This is an Ogre Magi rotation as well. Ogre Magi rotation might be enough, as he is going to get the Ignite multicast off onto the Sven, but Sven does have the shield, which should be enough for him to survive. Yes, he does survive, barely, and there is actually a level 2 Sunstrike, but it's not going to be enough to kill this Sven. Viper initiates onto the Bounty Hunter. Bounty Hunter dropping pretty low. He is hexed up as well now though. 2 multicasts for the Ogre Magi. A lot of damage with that Ignite. Undying does use his Tombstone. Tornado onto 3. It is going to save Unique for the time being. Urn of Shadows onto Ogre Magi, and Ogre Magi does get the kill onto the Shadow Shaman. Ogre trying his best to escape. Now he does re-engage onto the Viper, realizing that it is going to die. Deafening Blast from the Invoker, not going to be enough as they are still going on the Invoker. 6-6 Invoker does get the Ice Wall off, and that's going to be enough for Vault Gaming to get back. Sven does use his ultimate, is going to try and go on Rubik, but Rubik does so much damage with the Nether Toxin, and that's a double kill for Unique Rubik. Now 6-6 does get the Cold Snap off onto the Centaur Warrunner, and that's going to be another kill for Gambino Bounty Hunter. Track onto the Shadow Shaman. They do kill off the Undying, and now Shadow Shaman is going to fall as well. So that's a dominating for Gambino, absolutely crushing this game from Origin. You can see all of these heroes for the side of Origin are extremely comfortable for them, as the Bounty Hunter Gambino is just something to fear, as well as the Invoker from 6 to 6. Same can be said for all the heroes. I think they decided, you know what, this game we only go for comfort picks. We go for our Bounty Hunter Gambino, 6 to 6 Invoker, Unique Rubik, and it's been working really well for them. Meanwhile, Alchemist is farming really quickly, already has 183 lost hits, 19 minutes into the game with the Radiance, and I think that's a Assault Cuirass on the way as well.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Krubik does spot out the ward from OG Origin, and they will be able to de-ward that aggressive ward that they placed. 3 euro stop at the moment for OG Origin, maybe looking to get this tier 2. Everyone for Vault Gaming are rotating in though. And it seems like Havoc, he does have his Blink Dagger, is going to blink Hoof Stomp onto Invoker. Invoker should be careful here, as Krubik does go on him as well. Invoker is dropping pretty low, but they do get the kill onto the Ogre Magi. And that's a track onto Centaur War Runner as well as Undying. Meanwhile, I think that is worth it for OG Origin, as Alchemist is pushing out the bottom lane. Viper doesn't quite spot out the Alchemist in time. Alchemist wants to initiate onto the Viper here. Viper does have the Rod of Atos to keep Bounty, to keep him at bay a little bit. Cold Snap onto the Viper, and that's going to be a kill for TXT Alchemist. Top lane, again, 3 euros for OG Origin. Quite a lot of euros for OG Origin in this top lane, but it seems like Vault Dota 2 is set up to try and contest this push from Origin. There's a Sentry Ward that Creamy Potato is dewarding at the moment. Unique does manage to steal the Ether Shock from Shadow Shaman. And Bounty Hunter just tracking in everyone at the moment. He tracks Centaur War Runner, he tracks Undying, Shadow Shaman. They know exactly what's going on. This is like Wards 2.0. Sven trying to farm this camp, but he's spotted out and Invoker wants to go on him. That's going to be a tornado towards this Sven. They do go onto this Sven, and that's a kill for Rubik. Dominating streak now for Unique Rubik. Reminder, the winner of this game, if Origin wins this game, they go through to the finals and they are in the money.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Tornado. Just to farm a little bit and push the bottom lane out. Top lane Havoc does push out the tier 1 tower at least for Vault Gaming. And now the Bloodlust and the Alacrity on the Catapult does so much damage onto the tower, and Alchemist does go onto this Sven. Sven is dropping pretty low. He does have to run out for the time being. Sven is disarmed now as well by the Deafening Blast, and Vault Gaming forced to rotate off. They want to seem like they do want to re-engage here, as Centaur War Runner does have the Blink Dagger. It's waiting for his Hoof Stomp to go off cooldown though. Centaur does blink in, almost uses the Hoof Stomp, but not quite yet. Ogre Magi does have the stun, is going to get the full duration stun onto the Shadow Shaman. Alchemist dropping pretty low now. That's a double stun onto the onto the Alchemist and the Ogre Magi. Sven now dropping pretty low. He does die there. That's a mega kill for Gambino Bounty Hunter. And Vault Gaming, they did have to use the Shadow Shaman to get that kill onto the Ogre Magi. And it seems like OG Origin still wants to be aggressive. Viper does use the Rod of Atos onto the Invoker, but now it seems like Rubik is dropping pretty low. He does have the Nether Toxin and a Magic Wand. Invoker Tornado does save Rubik for the time being, but the Sven buyback does ensure that they do get the kill onto the Rubik. And that's a double kill for TXT. That he gets the kill on Krubek as well, and that's a triple kill now for the Alchemist. Alchemist somehow cleaning up, and 3 buybacks used for the side of Vault Gaming. More than a 27k net worth lead now at the moment for OG Origin. Alchemist alone has almost the same net worth as the entire Vault Gaming combined. And now, OG Origin, they get 2 racks. They still need to get the tier 2 tops. They're not going to get 3 racks. And it seems like Invoker does want to push out this top lane, so they can get the final tier 2 and maybe the final racks even. And OG Origin, they might want to consider roshing here before doing the final push, or they might feel confident enough to just go for the high ground push even without it. And I wouldn't blame them if they just go for the push either way, as Vault Gaming did use, I think, 4 buybacks there. No buybacks available for Vault. €3, they do have the timer though, and Vault, they are desperate. They have to go for a smoke play here. They do have Centaur Warrunner in the front here, trying to get a blink hoof stop combo off. Here's in the backline, he's going to get a hoof stomp onto 2, and now they want to go onto the Invoker. Invoker is going to die here. They do get the shackles off onto Ogre Major as well. Ogre Major is going to die there, and now they want to go on Gambino. Gambino does manage to TP out there, but good smoke gank from Vault Gaming as they do get the kill onto the Invoker and the Ogre Major. Now they do get those 2 kills, but they can't get any of objectives off of it as the lanes are pushed out so far. And now Gambino wants to go on Krubik. What? 3 hits is enough to kill the poor Undying. And Undying is supposed to be a strength hero. And to be honest, OG Origin have so much farm. They have the Bounty Hunter as well as the Alchemist. So just the most insane farming heroes on the side of OG Origin. Except for the Ogre Magi, every single hero in OG Origin has more net worth than every single hero in Vault Gaming.
Radiant's bottom shrine is under attack.
OG Origin just leading so far at the moment, and now Bounty Hunter with his Bloodlust and the Desolator is going to push this bottom shrine. And they do get the shrine. That's the final shrine down for Vault Gaming. And Vault Gaming, they're gonna have to get a lot more smoke ganks off if they want to somehow win this game. The Alchemist Bounty Hunter is just so farmed.
Scanning.
To give an idea of how effective Bounty Hunter's extra farming is, he only has 72 last hits and he's more farmed than the 118 last hits Invoker. And now OG Origin, they just marked down Roche. And Roche does fall. Meanwhile, Centaur Warrunner in the top lane does get stunned off. Alchemist is chasing him, and that's a monster kill streak for the Alchemist. Centaur Warrunner doesn't have buyback. OG Origin can easily look to push with this, and it seems like they are going to opt to go for the final lane of Megas.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Sven just trying his best to get some farm. He wants this BKB for the next fight. He doesn't have buyback cooldown, but he really wants this BKB. It seems like he is actually going to be able to get this if he does so his Quilling Blade and his Stout Shield, which is more than reasonable. Meanwhile though, Origin is pushing top lane with an alacrity. Alchemist just absolutely doing so much attack speed. Look at that tower, look at this huge raid boss with the Aegis pushing the tier 3 of Vault Gaming. Now Alchemist does back off a little bit as Viper does initiate on him, but the tornado does land on 2. Now Undying is dropping pretty low. He does get lifted off onto the low ground, and that's going to be a dead Undying. Alchemist does fall. 2-man stun from Magic onto the bounty, and he's going to get a bounty hunter kill there. So still defending the racks is Vault Gaming. Now Sven does also have the BKB, so he didn't have to use the BKB that previous fight. Now for this next fight he still has BKB. He doesn't have his Sven ultimate though. Now Sven is going to have to use his BKB, but it's not going to be enough as he does die. Creamy Potato shackles onto the Alchemist, but he's not taking any damage. His regeneration is just too much. But they do get the kill onto the Alchemist, so bounty hunter buyback, kill onto the Alchemist. Alchemist does have a buyback, but is not quite using it yet. And somehow Vault Gaming wins that fight. But Origin has no intention to stop here. They are going to keep pushing. They are going to keep pressuring the side of Vault Gaming. They know the Sven is down, and even if he's back, he doesn't have his ultimate. OG Origin do decide to back off a little bit for now. And 34k net worth lead for OG Origin. I just don't think Vault has a way back into this game, to be honest, but I think they are definitely going to try, and yeah, they'll definitely try. Maybe Origin wants to play the safe and just wait for the next Roshan. Not exactly sure. Doesn't seem like they're pushing at the moment. Alchemist at the stage now where he can actually start farming up consumed Aghanim Scepters for his teammates. That Axe on the Ogre Magi would be pretty strong. Rubik is buying an Axe for himself already. Bouncy onto Axe. It's a pretty weak Axe. And it does seem like OG Origin are waiting for something at the moment, not wanting to take any risks whatsoever, even with the insane net worth lead that they do have at the moment. Rubik in the top lane does have the Storm Hammer, should be able to catch off this Viper. Viper does use his Nether Toxin to try and farm, and that's a TP from Rubik. I don't know if it's a little bit of a bait. That's a two stun stack onto Viper, and that's a dead Viper. And Viper dead. OG Origin are going to try to push with that mistake that Vault Gaming just made. Now Alchemist does get buffed up again. He is bloodlusted. He does have his ultimate, so it's going to be the raid boss on the high ground again with the BKB as well. And then just the entire team of OG Origin waiting behind him and just protecting their raid boss. Hex onto the Alchemist. Will delay him a little bit for now. And that's going to be a Cataclysm from the Invoker. Sven runs back. Centaur Warren is forced to use his Stampede. And that is full mega creeps for the side of OG Origin. Shackles onto Vox, but Vox immediately cancels it out. Ogre Magi might fall here. That's a 2-man stun from Unique and a 2-man stun from TXT. Triple kill there for the Alchemist. 3 buybacks for the side of Vault Gaming. Vault Gaming not exactly in the position to fight, as it's still a 5v3. Tornado and EMP and Cold Snap onto the Sven. Rubik does try to get back for now, as Centaur Warrunner does use his Hoof Stomp onto the Rubik. Invoker dropping pretty low, but so is Sven, and they do get the kill onto Sven. Viper is dropping pretty low, and Viper is down as well. And that's GG, well played. Congratulations, OG Origin. We'll see you in the semi-finals of AoN League. You've made it to the top 4, into the money. And Volt Gaming, you should be more than proud. You've made it to the top 8 of 36 teams. So, in the top 20% of teams, more or less. Very well played from Volt Gaming. Both teams did really well and put up a fight.